Good afternoon everyone at Summit Railway. Not long ago I've installed those switches and the Sawmill Siding, and since then we've had some train operations and I've come across some major issues with those switches. One of them is a clearance issue with the switch lever right here, so I disconnected it, as you can tell. So that has to change, and I have two problems with those switches. Those are LGB radius 5 switches, and we get a lot of derailments. Although I like the looks of those switches, we are going to remove both LGB switches, and I'm going to replace only one of them with a Pico switch, and that's this one. So this switch will be vanished along with that track, and we will only have one switch connecting both mainline tracks into one. First of all, we need to disassemble the switch lever so that we are able to remove the switch. Now we are removing this piece of track and the switch. This should be very easy. And it is. This is the replacement Pico switch, and it has the same length on the straight branch as the LGB radius 5 switch. So I should be able to remove the LGB switch and put the Pico switch in its place. Now I have to cut the left branch of the switch because the radius is a little bit too tight to go onto the bridge in a straight line. The switch is shortened, although it's not quite sufficient, but I will resolve this problem by bending the track appropriately. But before we can install the switch, we will have to remove the upfront lantern, since it is not needed anymore. This switch lever will go onto that switch, and this switch lever will get removed. That's it for the removal process. So next thing I will do is to solder the connections. We got this switch lever right here that will connect to this switch, and this time it will be on the opposite side, so opposite of this one, and I will need to connect it to the lantern and refill the gravel. And when that's done, we can reinstall the track. The switch lever is properly connected to the power supply, so now we can go ahead and install the tracks. Here comes the switch. Let's make some room here. The switch lever will go in here. And then we've got a lantern which will go right next or right in between the switches. Something like that. To properly install the switch lever, we need to cut the tie. Therefore, I'm placing this wooden block underneath it and then using this knife to cut the end of the tie. Something like that. And now I should be able to slide the switch lever into place and put in the screw. The switch lever is done, and now we can backfill what we've dug out. Alright, that's good for now. Let's continue the track laying process and then we can finish up the gravel portion. Now we are reconnecting the curved piece onto the bridge. And now we can reuse this piece of track. I will simply connect it to the switch. And once it's connected, we can use the track bending device and shape it as we wish. For some reason, this piece of track lines up almost perfectly with the bridge. Let's use a tiny bit of track bending. That's crazy. No work done. Obviously it's too long, but we can always cut it. But it seems to line up perfectly. Moving this bridge on my own is not quite good, but it can be done. I have moved the bridge in its place because I need to cut the track to length, and to know what length is the right length, I need to put the bridge into place, obviously. So now I can cut a flush seam and then we can connect the track, and after that most of the project is already done. Now, this project went friggin' smooth. I'm very impressed. We got a seamless gap between the new track section and the bridge. That went very well. And we removed 2 LGB radius 5 switches and changed it to 1 Pico R7 switch, which will make train operation that much safer. We also got rid of the interference between the switch lever and the rolling stock. So now it is switched to the other side and a little further away from the track anyways, since I changed it from a side switch lever to a a perpendicular switch lever. So all of those changes will have a great impact to the running ability and safety of this layout. This project is almost done. I will remove this retaining wall, remove some of the gravel, and rebuild the retaining wall much closer to the track to widen the planter area. And that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see us in the next one.